Hi, welcome back to Nails and Yap. So today I'm joined by Lizzie, and this is a very exciting episode because Lizzie is actually one of my clients and my first non-industry guest. So she's not a nail tech, she's not a beautician, she's just Lizzie. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I really wanted to do this episode and talk to Lizzie all about what clients want, so kind of what are client expectations, what do clients like, what do they not like, from a client's point of view, because I think sometimes as nail techs and beauticians, we will often think about it from a business perspective and we can maybe assume things that may or may not be true. So that's what we're here to find out today, and hopefully it'll be a really valuable episode for everybody. So thank you so much for joining. What are we doing on your nails today, Lizzie?
Let me just have a look on my Pinterest board. That's where I get all of my inspiration. I was thinking these looked cute. What do you think? They're like little gingham with like some
love
little
that.
stars.
That's really cute. Yeah, we can definitely do that. We'll just need to have a look at what colours we think. Are you liking those colours?
Yeah, I
the
do
muted
like
colours.
What do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say, do I need to do them with jelly? But actually, I'll just be able to mix a bit of clear in with the existing colours. So yeah, we can get as close to that as we want, as possible.
I love it.
It's so knowledgeable. Yeah, we can definitely do that. They're really cute. That was easy. We'll have a quick consultation.
I know.
So you've been coming to me for like a year now, I think. Did we say?
I feel like
Longer?
Because I almost think it's been a year and a half, because I remember when I started coming to you, I said that I feel like I finally moved here because I found a nail tech that I really, it's hard to find your nail tech, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's a real journey. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, I've actually finally moved to Stockport because I found my nail tech. And that was like a
settled
year
into
in.
the location.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, so it's been over a year then. Where did you start your nail journey? What's your kind of nail history as a client?
I first started getting my nails done when I moved to London. So I must have been like 22, so 10 years ago. But it was so sporadic. And I used to honestly get the most like longest acrylic nails, which, don't get me wrong, I still think look gorgeous, but it's just not me anymore. Like, we've really come along on a journey, and I feel like because of you I've learned so much more as well. So yeah, I started my nail journey then, but I would like get them and then chip them off myself and peel them off and then not get it for ages and then get them again. And so I had like a really sporadic relationship with them. And then during COVID, that's when I actually first started to get my nails done a bit more regularly. But that's when I was living back at home in Hull. And I had a nail tech and I'd go to her regularly, and I really liked that. And then moving back to London, it's so different going to nail shops in London because you don't get that same rapport with your nail tech.
Was that more of like a walk-in kind of experience then?
Yeah. And so again, I just felt like I had no real reason to always like keep getting them done. Moving here, I knew that I wanted to find a good nail tech and that I wanted to really go on this like nail journey. But I went into a few different places, I just didn't vibe, and I didn't know if I was going to find my person.
The one.
Then eventually I found you. But I do remember coming to you and you taught me all about how you do it in a dome structure, and I remember saying to you the last time I got it was quite thick, and you were like, no, it's not supposed to be like that, like I can do it like this for you. And so you educated me on it and why it works in that way. And I really appreciated that because I was really worried that I was just going to come out with like really thick nails like I had done before.
Yeah.
And then, we moved to hard gel. I think when my nails started getting longer and like Builder was not...
Just wasn't hard wearing enough for you, was it? Like, we just transitioned you over when you had the length, didn't we?
Yeah.
You needed the strength.
I did. And now I wouldn't go back. I love it.
Love a hard job.
Yeah. Because they never chip. Like, they always look so good. like, yeah, I honestly feel like I could go 5 weeks and I know you'd be like, please don't do that. And
not with your length.
And it would still stay looking nice. But no, I always do come for weeks mark.
How would you say nail appointments make you feel then, in general? Because obviously, I know it's been like only a couple of years that you've been regularly getting your nails done for.
I love it. Like, everyone, when I got engaged, it was so funny. They were like, oh, you must have known because you got your nails done. And I was like, no, I always get my nails done. Like, I've been getting my nails done for 1.5 years. Like, it's not a new thing.
I'm just that girl now.
Yeah. And I love it because I just feel like so put together. And I was watching this video of me the other day, you know, like when memories come up, and I didn't have nails on. And I think it was like 2 years ago or something. And I was like looking at my nails and I was like, oh my God, that just does not feel like me anymore, because I feel like my personality now is to have some nails on.
Yeah, and I think as well when you like transition to be a almond girly, like almond nails, they are a personality. They are a lifestyle. They're a statement. Like they become part of you.
And I think now as well, especially, like my friend said this to me, she said, when you get engaged, everyone will be looking at your nails. So like, just always have your nails done. And she is so right, because I can't tell you how many times someone's been like, let me see your hand. And I'm like, thank God I've got like nice nails on, because otherwise I would not be wanting to put that out there.
That is such a good piece of life advice.
Yeah.
If you think you might get engaged, just constantly have your nails done.
Yeah. No, I do love the way that it makes me feel. It just makes me feel put together. And I also love the experience of the appointments, because I always feel like we have a good chat. Like, it was nice the other day when Elle came in and she was like, I love overhearing your chats because you guys just talk about everything. And that's it. Like, there's really nothing that's off limits. I feel like we have so many things that we agree on, or we challenge each other on, or like offer each other different perspectives. And it's so rare to have those kind of conversations, even with your friends now at this age, because you might be going out for dinners and the place is loud, or like you're going out for drinks and it's just really hard to talk. So unless you're sat in each other's houses, you're just not having the same level of conversation.
No, that's so true. I do see like a lot of my clients more than I see my friends, like more regularly, 100%.
And also it's like, with your friends, a lot of the time you spend so much time catching up, don't you, because you feel like you need to, whereas like, you and I catch up, but then there's so many other things that we'll talk about, because there's so many other topics that have happened, you know, since we've seen each other. And it might be something interesting we've seen on TikTok, or like a movie we've watched. And so I feel like it's more than just like what's been going on with you. There's like way more to that, which is nice.
Yeah, I think we're also both really good at that kind of, like you say, sometimes we don't always agree, but we give each other a different perspective. And I think we're really good at that with each other, where you'll sort of say, what do you think of this? And I feel like I can be honest with you, and vice versa. I feel like you would be honest back.
Yeah.
And I know like I'm not going to offend you if I say, oh, have you thought about it this way?
Yeah.
And the same, like I love hearing your perspective on stuff as well.
Yeah. No, it's really nice.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is crazy though, like the relationship you build up with like any sort of beautician who you see regularly, because like you say, they kind of know more than your friends and your family sometimes. Like, we just talk about everything, and it's wild.
I've never had that either with any other beautician, because like I used to get my eyebrows done regularly, but I kind of again go into somewhere where it's walk in and you wouldn't always see the same person. So yeah, you're my first beautician relationship.
I'm here for that. I'll claim the title. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about kind of client expectations and what you expect from either like the experience or from like your tech as a person. Like, what do you like and expect like as a client?
I don't know if this is part of the atmosphere, but like a clean studio, like you walk in and you just feel like, okay, I feel like this is really nice and clean. Like they definitely like, oh my God, I think I might have bumped that. I'm so sorry. Sorry.
We're giving the real client
I
experience.
I feel like
I'm so glad you admit it though, instead of just putting it in anyway.
I feel like I never do that, and then today I'm like, oops.
All good.
Like a clean studio, like you know that you're getting like fresh tools, you know, when you're in with them and stuff. I like that. I know not everyone has this luxury, but I love that here it's like quiet, because I think as I'm getting older, I find it really hard with background noise to like hear what the other person is saying. So sometimes when it's super busy, it's hard to really like focus on, you know, what you're saying.
Just one conversation.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Sorry, just to touch on cleanliness, is that something that you would say you would notice as a client then? You would notice if a place was not as hygienic as you would like?
Yeah, there's all these little things that you can tell. Like I know with you that you clean all your tools and then you put them, you know, like in the packs and everything. And seeing that, it just makes you feel like reassured that you're gonna have a good experience. So say if I'd never been with you before, that would be something that straight away I'm like, okay, yes, like I know that she's really professional, she's got a clean studio, and you know, I know I'm gonna have a good experience here.
Little green flag.
Yeah, a little green flag.
I love that. Is there anything else that you kind of like from or expect from like the atmosphere, the studio?
I mean, I love a comfy chair because you're going to be sitting in it for a couple of hours, so you definitely want a chair that's gonna pull that back.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so easy sometimes to just think, oh, the client chair doesn't matter as much, and as a nail tech you invest in your chair because you're sitting in it all the time, but actually it's so important sometimes to sit in the client chair.
Yeah,
I've had it before at previous studios and I've had to sit down in the client chair for whatever reason. I think mine broke at one point and I had to borrow someone else's client chair, and I sat in it and I was like, this is horrible. There was no padding on the bottom of it, and I was like, oh my god, I actually feel so bad that my clients have been sat here so uncomfy and I didn't know and no one had said anything. But as soon as I realised, I was like, I feel really guilty. But it is really important, I think, to kind of pretend you're a client sometimes and sit in the chair and what have you, because people won't always tell you, but people do notice those things, don't they?
Yeah, that is such a good idea. You do notice, because like, say if you've just had your nails done for like 2.5 hours, and when you get up you're like, oh, like that was, you know, you find it more tiring than say if you've got a nice comfy chair. And like, you know, when you were doing my prep before, I was just like, oh, I feel like that went so fast. And it's just, I think all those little details, it's not that you automatically are like, oh, they've got an uncomfy chair, I don't want to be here. It's just the experience that you get and the feeling afterwards where you're like, oh, am I tired from going to that? Or do I feel like I've been for a relaxing treatment, which is like what you want to be going for?
Yeah, 100%. You want it to feel like something you look forward to, I guess, rather than a chore.
Yeah. Yeah, because now, I think we've spoken about it, haven't we? But if you don't, you know, love the nail tech that you're going to or love the experience, like why wouldn't you just get press-ons and like, you know, stick them on your nails?
Yeah, that's so true. What about consultation process? Is that something that you care about as a client? Is that important to you? It's so fine to say no as well, by the way, to any of these things.
With consultation process, like, can you like, because like, what do you mean by that? Like, it's like you asking me like what I want, or like what?
Yeah, so it's in like when you sit down and I'll sort of say, how have you got on with your set last time? Ask any questions, especially on the first one when it's like asking about lifestyle or filling out your form before you first book in. And then when I'll say like, what design do you want today? What are we doing? What length? Like all of that, like the sort of finding out what you want from the appointment, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important, because obviously we both have to set expectations, don't we? Where like I might be like, oh, I want this, and you might say, oh, I don't know if that would work right now, but let's build up your nails to get there. You know, like if on my first set where I had like short nails and I was like, I want almond nails, and you were just like, like, I don't know if I can do that. Not saying that this happened, because it didn't, but you know, it's just about us both setting our expectations so like no one leaves disappointed, or that the experience wasn't what we envisioned it to be, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I think from a tech point of view as well, that's like exactly why I do a consultation process, because I want to know kind of what you want as a client, what you like, what you dislike. I want to know kind of even down to shape and things like that. Like your almond might be my stiletto, so it's making sure you're aligned on things like that as well. I think it's quite important to avoid disappointment.
And it's like, like if you might not have the items to do something as well, it's just like being clear, like, oh, I can't do that, but I could do it this way. You're happy, for it to go this way, basically.
Yeah, kind of communication rather than just doing it and then at the end you're like, that's not what I asked for.
Yeah, because then I think if you can't have that kind of communication and set expectations, then by the end, if you do leave disappointed, it's a hard one to think, oh yeah, I want to come back.
Yeah, it leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think as well, as a nail tech, one of my worst fears would be being featured in, you remember that sound that was trending on TikTok and it was like, this is what I wanted, this is what I got.
Oh,
and it was like the inspo pic and then they'd post like a horrible set of nails and like, this is what I got.
Yeah.
Like, imagine seeing your work on that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Stab to the heart.
That must be awful. I'd hate that. Also, I saw this TikTok and it was of this influencer and she went to a nail lady and she was kind of saying about how it wasn't the experience that she had hoped for. And I think from doing my nails more, it's made me understand also from the nail tech side, because like one of the things that she mentioned was that the nail tech was saying she would charge, for removal of gel polish because she hadn't got it done by her. And like from me going, I know that's like a very normal thing, to do.
Yeah.
And like I thought, like I got some parts of her video and why she, like made it, but I thought that was like not the right thing to call out because it's like I think most people do that. I think she was also saying like about how she had asked for a cat eye and that was going to be more, and it's like I know that people do charge more for like what is categorized as nail art because cat eye is categorized as that. And then like she was also sorry going into this like in depth, but she was also complaining about how she asked for like different cat eye on every like finger, and again like the nail tech lady said that would be more for that. And it's like, I think with a consultation process and also with clear prices, at least you're not set up for disappointment or like a surprise at the end where you're like, whoa, I didn't realise that it was going to be as much as that.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it, and every place that I've been to, they always do charge, for gel removal. So I was like, I don't feel like that is out of the question.
It's not super abnormal, is it? If it's from somewhere else, I don't know what product's been used.
Yeah.
I can't mix my product on top of someone else's product because they might react with one another, they might not sit together properly. So I need to remove whatever that is and then I can start afresh. Like I can't mix brands and products and systems.
I think that's why I really enjoy coming to you, because you do a lot of education as well as, doing my nails. Like I feel like now I've got such, like, obviously not like you, but for someone who...
Oh, the nail course next week.
For someone who's not in the profession, I feel like I've got a really good knowledge of how nails work and, like, why things are the way that they are. Because when you're doing something, you'll always be like, oh, this works in this way, or, like, this is why this might take longer because of this reason, And I love knowing the ins and outs of it all, so yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, I feel like you're one of my clients that's most inquisitive, and I love that because I love chatting about like the science and the why and the structure and everything. So when people are genuinely interested, I'm like, yes, let's talk this. And I feel like you're one of my clients who is genuinely like, please tell me, share the secrets.
I love it. It's like coming to nail school each time that I'm here. And then when we do something new as well, I'm like, whoa, that's how it works.
Was it you who asked me about the cat eye, or was that somebody else?
I asked you, but...
How it works?
Yeah.
Was it you?
Yeah, you told me about with the magnets and like...
No, that was so funny that you were like, but actually, like, I know it's magnetic, but like, still how? Still why? We need more info than that.
I'm like one of those petulant kids that it's like, why is the sky blue? And then it's
but
like...
Why?
Yeah.
Do you think it's really important to build that kind of trust, friendship, consistency with your nail tech?
Definitely. I think the fact that you're the only person that I've been to regularly really shows that, because I do think we've built up that relationship, like, you know, where it is, there's so many topics that we can talk about. I don't feel like I'm just coming into you and we're gossiping or, you know, talking about, I don't know, just nothing wrong with talking about frivolous stuff. I love doing that too. And I love talking about like pop culture, blah, blah, blah. But also I love being able to go deeper with you. This is just like an ode to like how much I love you.
No, I love that because I think for me, I love when it feels like with clients, it's not just an exchange of services. And I think sometimes if it's really top layer small talk, it is that like you're here to get a service, and like yes you ultimately are, and ultimately I am going to make you tap your card at the end of the appointment, but not today obviously, podcast guest, but I like that we build that rapport, we get to know each other, and we can just have fun as well. And it's like, and that's what makes my job not feel like work.
I feel like we built trust from there as well, because it's like I can come in, we can chat, and I bet like if we had recorded our appointment, maybe, you know, when I first started, it'd be so interesting to see how much things have developed, because I bet then a lot of it was, you know, small talk, and we were like getting to know each other. And now I sit down and we're talking about like culture and race, and we're talking about like the patriarchy. So it's just really interesting, isn't it? It's just the way that a friendship develops as well.
100%. If you could give a piece of advice to nail techs that's like a practical tip for sort of making clients feel more valued or listened to or have a better experience, what would that be?
It's interesting that you asked me about the consultation process earlier, because I don't think I'd ever sat and thought about how crucial that is. Just taking, it probably takes like 2 minutes. I really think it sets the whole vibe, you know, for the appointment. So yeah, I think having like a good consultation process. And I do like that you've asked me how I've got on with my nails. And I love that you've got that little form as well where we speak about, you know, like if anything's changed, or like if there was a chip or something like that. And I remember when you explained to me the reason was because if you see it with a few different clients, maybe the product isn't right, and also if it's with me, maybe I'm not reacting well to that product. And I really like that, because it made me feel like you really care about how I go with these nails, and you're not just trying to, not that I ever think that people would be out to do this, but you're not just trying to make money. Like, you genuinely want me to have a good experience. Like, you want the service and / the product that you provide to last and be good quality.
To be honest with that, like, I make a note of everything I use so that next time I like make my life easier as well, because I'm like, have we got on with it? Yes, cool, let's get the same product out again. Have we not? And if it's a no, and I can't remember what I actually put on you last time, then it's like, well, how do I know what to suggest and try from there? So for me, that's just like part and parcel. But yeah, I suppose as a client, that does make you feel a bit more valued, and it's not like you just coming in and slap anything on and off you pop. It's like, no, we actually want these nails to see you through life.
Yeah.
Are there any little touches that matter a lot to you?
I'm not a hot drink person, so like I'm never bothered if someone's like, oh, do you want a tea or a coffee, because I probably won't accept. But I do love that you always have a Pepsi Max or a Diet Coke on hand. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's just really nice, because especially when you're in for a long appointment, it's just nice to know that there's a drink on hand, and like you're always really good at offering that. Like, if you know I've finished my drink, you'd be like, oh, do you want another one? And I think that's really nice. I think that's a cute little touch.
Yeah.
I think just the fact that you're so friendly, I know we've spoken about it before, but a massive reason to not stay consistent is when you don't have that kind of rapport with your nail tech, because you're just like, oh, there's no accountability there, and like I can just pick off my nails and like get it done in like another 6 months and save myself, you know, some money. But because I love coming to you, then I'm like, okay, I want to show up every month, and I want to really take care of my nails. And I think, yeah, the relationship and the personality that your nail tech has is a big factor that comes into it, that might not be something that everyone thinks about.
No, because it factors into your enjoyment of the appointment, isn't it? And ultimately, like, you're here to get lovely nails, but you're also here for a while, so you want to have a nice time while you're here.
Yeah.
Like, I always think if my clients are taking time out of their schedule, especially on like a Saturday. Like, you know, you've been in work all week, you come in on a Saturday, or even one of my evening appointments, like if you're coming to me at 7 p.m. and staying with me till 9 o'clock at night, you probably want to be on the sofa watching telly. It's inconvenient for what time you eat your tea, and there's so many things that impacts, and the fact that people choose to do it and don't mind doing it is really important to me.
Yeah, I think in so many jobs, like for my job even, for example, I work in CRM, so that's like email marketing and SMS and push marketing. And one thing that I always think about, and I know that other CRM specialists think about it, is that it's a privilege to be able to communicate with customers. So it's a privilege that they sign up to your email and stay signed up, or it's a privilege that they've downloaded your app. And I think that's so important in so many jobs, to not view it as a chore or something that you've got to do, but also understand like the person that you're working with or the person that you're doing something for.
Is there anything you really don't care about? Whether that's like the actual nails itself or whether it's like the experience of the appointment. Like what as a client do you just think, I'm actually not bothered whether you do that, whether you don't do that, I just don't care?
I'm trying to think.
For me, I always think, I need to get some biscuits in for my clients. Like it'd be so nice to have like, you know, the little tray with coffee and a biscuit on the side. And then actually, you know what? At Christmas, I got loads of candy canes and I put it on the side of everyone's tray and everyone left it. And now I've got a cupboard full of candy canes. No one took it home.
Yeah.
No one ate it at the time because obviously it's sticky, inconvenient. You don't actually want a strawberry flavoured candy cane with your vanilla latte.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually go very well. And it's stuff like that I think, that'll really make my clients' appointments loads better. But actually, I don't think anyone cared about it.
I think it's just like it's like a nice to have, but it's not going to make or break, you know, your experience. And like, I think it's so dependent, isn't it? Like, I'm not a biscuit person, I'm not a candy cane person, but say if you had a box of chocolates, like I remember when you did have a box of chocolates, I was like, oh yeah, I'll have a couple of these, and that was quite nice. But again, it's not the reason why I come to you.
Yeah, you're not going to stop coming because I haven't offered you a celebration.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, valid. What about like pet peeves? Do you have any pet peeves as a nail client?
Isn't just like to do with a nail client, and I think maybe this is actually like maybe a me thing, but I hate like one-sided conversations, you know, where it's like if you feel like you're asking loads of questions and then like there's nothing really like in return. And I don't think that, obviously this isn't just in terms of like nail techs, it's like everything, like every bit of life, because after a while, because I do ask a lot of questions, but then after a while I find it exhausting to then think about like another 20 questions, you know, to ask someone. So yeah, I hate like in any conversation feel like you're doing a lot of the legwork, and like when you are sat across from each other like this, it's really like you would just be having a conversation unless you both sit down and you're like, oh, we're gonna have a quiet appointment.
Yeah, we're knackered today.
Yeah.
I think as a nail tech though, what I have to do sometimes is sit back and think, okay, obviously they don't want to chat, so it's a bit easier because it's like, okay, I'll just be quiet then. But I do find it tricky if you've got someone in who it's not two-sided. It's very hard to maintain a conversation. I usually find that with younger clients.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I've had a couple of girls in who've been sort of 16 and they tend to be very quiet, more reserved, and I'll be like, do you have any pets? And then they're like, yes, I have a dog. I'm like, what is your dog's name?
Yeah.
Like, Toby. Did you choose the name or did your mum choose the name? And I'm like, why am I saying these stupid things? But equally, give me nothing, hon. Like, you're giving me nothing.
Yeah. No, I've definitely, I've worked with teenagers in the past and they are like that, bless them. I think it's just that like social anxiety that you have at that age, that you're going to say something wrong, so you just don't have that back and forth like conversational ability, do you? But yeah, I think it is really hard to do that. How do you find out the vibe of someone, you know, like when they're at their appointment? Because I can imagine a lot of people don't have the, I don't know, like confidence to come in and just be like, I don't want to talk.
You just have to read signals. So if I'm sort of saying to someone, especially if they've come in the evening and I say, how's work? And they're like, oh God, I'm absolutely knackered. Like, it's been a tough week. Oh, I'm so excited for the weekend. You're like, okay, their energy's probably a little bit lower. And then sometimes I'll chat away, and then at the end they're like, oh, I really needed that. I feel better now. And you think, right, I've picked up their energy again. Other times you need to just back off and leave it. So what I'll tend to do is, if I'm getting a vibe that somebody is not wanting to chat, I will slow the conversation down a bit, and then we either sit in that comfortable silence and it's fine. Usually it's during the nail art as well, so it helps me concentrate. Or they'll then start asking questions. I have had that before where somebody has not been very receptive to my questions. So I thought, oh, I'll back off. They obviously don't want to chat. I'll take the hint and stop bothering them. I'm quiet, and then after a little bit of silence, they'll ask me something back. And I think, no, they actually do want to talk because they're now initiating conversation. So it's not like my job to sort of not only do the nails, but like make it a good conversation again. And that is hard when you're getting sort of limited responses back.
So hard for you, isn't it? Because your job just encompasses so many different things. Like, it's like, realistically, you should just be good at nails, but then it's like, a massive thing is like the conversation. So it's like, then you have to be a good conversationalist, but then you also need to be good at picking up cues, and then you need to be good at like pricing things up to understand, like make sure that, you know, you're still making a good profit at the end of the day. Like, I think that about all small businesses, but there is a lot that goes into it, isn't there?
I love that you get it, but equally, I think that comes down to what clients want as well, because you know, if a client does want to not have a conversation, like, maybe they will just go to a walk-in where they get a different person every time. They don't want that relationship. So I always think if someone's come to me, they probably are with me for a reason. They want the experience, whether that's like, you know, like you said before, the knowledge of hygienic tools, whether it's to build that rapport, to have the same person every time who understands what they want out of their nails. But equally, it can be just because they want to have a nice chat as well, and they like the idea of building a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
I think pet peeves are a funny one because they're so individual to everyone, and obviously I'm not kind of positioning you as speaking for all clients. Some people will have clients who don't agree, but I remember back when I was a client, and one of my pet peeves was always if they didn't have online booking, because I just would find it so hard to book in with them, and I didn't like that. I don't want it to be another chore on my to-do list. You know, I've already got a list of people that I can't contact easily. You know, need to sort my car tax out, need to call them up, got to wait till Monday, it's got to be between 9 and 5. I don't need to then be adding like book a hair or a nail or an eyebrow appointment to that. I just want to go online and do it at 2 a.m. when I've remembered.
Yeah, that is such a good point, because when I first moved here, there's literally a nail salon at the end of my road, and I was like, that would be the perfect place to go. So tried to do online booking, they didn't have it. Tried to ring up, and then they were like, oh, the girl who does nails isn't in today, because it was like a salon where they were all, I guess, independent.
Like self-employed.
Yeah. So they were like, oh, just ring on a day that she's in. She's next in on this day. I don't think I was able to ring her up. And then, or even, I think maybe I did ring, but then she wasn't available because she was doing someone else's nails. And then I went into the salon and she wasn't in, because obviously she doesn't work certain days. And they were like, oh, follow her on Instagram. So followed her on Instagram, messaged her, and I was like, hey, like, because I was just thinking, this is literally the most convenient place for me to go.
Yeah.
I can walk there. It's just going to be, and I didn't know anywhere else at this point.
Yeah, and like you can go on your lunch break.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's so many benefits to having someone close.
Yeah. When I got on her Instagram and I was like, hey, like, can I book in? And then she got back to me, like, I want to say like a week later or something. But then it was so hard to book an appointment, so I never ended up going.
I was going to a place once who didn't have online booking, so they would take phone bookings. But then it meant during my appointment, the phone was ringing off the hook. So the nail tech could be up and down and up and down and up and down. And when you are trying to just have a conversation, especially when you're talking about something serious, or you're like confiding in someone and then they're like, sorry, one sec, and they're just up and down, it really interrupts that kind of flow.
Yeah, that sounds so inconvenient.
Yeah.
And not what you want.
It's not what you want. I want to feel like a VIP. If you had to rank, say, like the actual nails, the personality of the nail tech, experience in terms of like the environment, so like whether it's a busy salon, whether it's a private salon, like just the salon experience, or whether it's something you like as a client?
I think I would go nails first, because like
Yeah.
if you had a great personality but then my nails were not great, like, I'm sorry, but I feel like that's not what I want to go.
Yeah, I had fun, but like ultimately,
that's not the reason why we're here.
I'm not here to make a new friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think nails, and then for me, I would say personality, just because I think if we're spending so long together, I'd find it really hard to sit across from someone and not enjoy being in their company.
Yeah.
And then like salon environment, like, don't get me wrong, it's such a like nice to have, but I could get over everything else. Like, as in, I could get over anything going on in the salon if I feel like those two things are met well.
See, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Because for me, I think as a client elsewhere, I would put comfort. I'd probably do service, comfort, then personality. But I'd say all three would be important to me. Like, I'd want all three to click.
Yeah.
But if I'm like freezing cold during my appointment, I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm freezing cold and then I'm dreading coming to my appointment because I'm like, I'm going to be cold, or I'm going to be dead thirsty for the whole time, or the chair's really uncomfy, but the nails are good, I'd still be like, oh, I can probably find somewhere where the nails are good and I'm comfy.
Yeah. Would you put that over personality then? Because I think,
it's hard.
Because I think all three is really important. Like, would I want to sit in a cold room for like 2 hours? No.
Yeah.
But if like, say, if I could only have 2 out of the 3, I think I'd always choose those 2.
Interesting. Do you know what? I don't know if I'd put it above. Oh, I don't know. I think I just want all three, to be honest. I think I'm like, they're my must-haves.
Yeah.
I probably need an example of something that I actually don't care about, which is probably like, do you know what? I'd probably put like drinks further down the list.
Yeah.
Like, nice to have, but equally, if I went to a nail salon, I really got on with them. The nails lasted really well. It was a really comfortable chair and I liked the experience. But then I guess drinks are part of the experience. But they didn't offer me a drink. I'd be like, well, I'll just remember to bring my own. It's not a deal breaker. Yeah. But I like to have it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think as well? For me, it would tie into price. If it's a chunk of my budget each month and it's something I'm having to be like, I'm going to choose to spend my money on this. You know, it's not a set of 20 quid nails. Like, if it's 20 quid, I can overlook the fact I don't get a drink, I can overlook this, I can overlook that. But equally, if I'm spending a decent amount on nails, I want to have a nice time on there.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because you're so right. Like, when I had less money, I would go into walk-in places and maybe pay like 20, 30 quid, but I couldn't afford to go more. Whereas now, if I'm earning a bit more money, I do want to be spending it on a time that I will enjoy, and it's not just like a chore for me to go and do it.
Yeah, I think it's aligning all of those things, isn't it, as well? Like, as a nail tech, for me, if my pricing is right and my service is right, but then my clients aren't perceiving that value, then something's missing.
Yeah.
Like, and as a client, if I'm spending my hard-earned money on something, I want to feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like, the more you're spending, the better the environment has to be, right?
But also, on your flip side, as in for a nail tech, thinking that the more you're spending on something automatically means a good client experience is also, you know, to your point, isn't the case, because it's like, if I don't understand that actually that's the reason why I should come to you, or like why that makes this better than somewhere else, then it isn't like valuable, is it?
Yeah, so I guess it's educating clients on the value you can offer.
Because, like, say for example, always having clean tools, I mean, I think that's kind of like common knowledge, like common sense.
It should be a no-brainer. It shouldn't be even optional.
Yeah.
Like some places don't, which is horrendous.
But also, like, for clients, for example, like, it should be common sense that you want them to be using clean tools. But like, I remember when you showed me the little packs that you put it in, and I was like, oh, you know what, I never thought about how much I really value that. And then seeing that, I was like, that just gives me like such a peace of mind that I never really knew that I needed.
I think there are certain things that as a client, if you're not told, why would you know? As a client, like, I would never go to the hairdresser and think, oh, when did you last clean your scissors? Because why would I think that? Like, I'm just thinking, do I like my hair? Is the chair comfy? I'm having a nice chat.
Yeah.
So I do think there are certain things as a nail tech, if you educate people on it, then they'll know to look out for it.
Yeah.
Equally, like you say, seeing the actual pouches, just, and if someone comes for the first time, they might not have seen me post about why hygiene's important, but they'll see that I throw away my file at the end of the service. They're instantly going to think, oh,
yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. And
Perfect.
like this other nail tech that I had to, she had a different file for every person.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that as well, because it's like, you know that that's just going to be for you know.
Yeah. Have you ever had any bad salon experiences?
So one time I got my nails done, and it was for my birthday, and bearing in mind it was a pretty cheap set, and she did it, and basically my nail chipped like the next day. I want to say it honestly took like 2.5 hours to do as well, so I think that was a bit of a tricky one.
How would a nail tech make that up to you? Because as a nail tech, I've definitely had that experience before, where you've got the dreaded message a couple of days later where someone goes, hi, just to let you know my nail's chipped, can you fit me in for or just to let you know my nail's chipped. So as a client, how do you think a tech should deal with that situation?
In this case, but I will get on to that as well, I never got back to her because, bless her, she just took so long that I was like, I don't have enough time to go back and sit there, to get my nail done that was chipped. I guess I don't understand it from your side, so I'd also be interested in hearing this too. But from my side, I think it is hard when that's what you expect, or like maybe if they haven't explained to you, oh, you would expect chipping at this stage if you don't use this set, like say if you don't go for builder, for example. Sorry, I'm like not explaining this well at all.
No, I get you. So as in like, for you, you would value like, don't wait for the problem to happen, sort of get ahead of it and say to the client, so with a builder gel, it should last you sort of 10 days, 2 weeks. If you get chipping sooner than that, I guarantee my work before 5 days. So if you get any problems within that time, send me a message straight away, we'll get you in for a fix. Should last longer than that. If you get any chipping after that, it's usually down to lifestyle. Here's your aftercare advice, please follow it.
Well put. Yeah, I literally think
just that.
Yeah, you put that so well. Like, I think I'd feel so much more comforted, by that, because by the time that the problem happens, like, you as a client feel so awkward, to bring it up. Like, I felt, you always feel awkward, and that was a big part of the reason why I didn't bring it up, that time.
Yeah.
So, like, without that communication, you probably have just lost that client anyway.
See, that is so interesting to me, because as a nail tech, I'd be almost too worried to say, like, they might chip at the first appointment, because I think, oh, am I just making them think that my work's not good, or that I don't like back my own work? But actually, if you say this is what you should expect, any problems let me know, then you are kind of letting them know it's not normal.
Yeah, and also if you have that guarantee, like you said, then I'd be like, okay, that, like, I know that that's okay and that's right, like after 5 days if it chips then fine,
Yeah.
But this was literally the very next day, and so I was like, I don't feel like this is normal.
No.
But I had no like experience on the topic. So and you just feel awkward, whereas like say if I did have that guarantee, then I could be like, oh, I'm really sorry, but it did chip. Like, is it okay to come in and get it fixed?
Yeah.
And I really do think having even like an experience like that, which might at the start be a negative experience, but then the outcome is positive, it can lead to loyalty.
You can win them back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also in a way more than if like everything had been right from the outset, because they have that trust in you then that if something does go wrong, then they can depend on you to help them out or sort it.
Yeah, I love that, because I think it's really easy to assume clients just want perfection, but actually it is good if they can see that mistakes might happen and you will fix it and you do care.
One other experience that I had, I went to a different place and she did builder and it was really thick, so I think I mentioned that. And so in the end, my nails just looked like, honestly, so bulbous, it was crazy. And then we went for chrome, and she put the black nail varnish on, like, at the bottom. I never knew that you had to do it, with black nail varnish, and then you, like, rub on the chrome on top.
Yes.
But also, I don't know if the chrome that she was using, I don't know if it was a good product or not, but it didn't have the kind of shine that a chrome should have. Like, it just looked like kind of
Did it look a bit glittery?
Yeah.
Basically, I would put a black down that's an art gel, because art gel have built-in top coats, and it needs that no wipe top coat in the product for it to get that chrome effect. So that would either be that she's just used a regular black polish, or that she's put it in but it's not cured properly. Because I find sometimes if I'm doing a chrome set and I put the top coat on the thumb at the same time and they put it in with the rest of the hand, a lot of the time the half of the thumb that's been pointing up at the lamp properly will get the mirror shine, and the side that's been tucked underneath in the shadows and hasn't cured properly will go more glittery.
Oh, interesting.
So it might be that it's not been cured for long enough, or it's been like a funny angle in the lamp as well.
This is why I love coming to you, because I feel like I could tell you something and you're almost like a doctor. Like, you can be like, I can tell you why this happened, and it was because of this and this reason.
I'm here to diagnose.
Yeah, and I literally love it, because I love getting educated on these things and then knowing that that's what I need to expect, you know, like from appointments, because it builds that trust, doesn't it? Because you're like, oh, I know that you know your shit, and I can just sit back and like have a good appointment, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And when you just said she put black down as well, that really reminded me of something that I want to get better at, which is explaining the process to clients sometimes, because there's certain things I'll do. Say they've shown me an inspo pic, and I know, like, for example, all right, I'm going to put black down because that'll deepen that chrome. But I start doing black and people start panicking. Sometimes they don't say anything, but then sometimes they do, and you can tell they've been ruminating on it for a while, and they'll say, oh, I did want the navy blue, or I did want that colour. And I think, oh yeah, actually, you've probably just been stressed thinking, how do I tell her that she's doing it wrong? That's not what I asked for. What do I say to her? And actually, I'm like, oh, no, I am doing it right. And we'll usually laugh about it, and my client will say, sorry, I should have just trusted you. You know what you're doing. But equally, I'd rather clients speak up, because imagine if I have just forgotten a certain thing that they've asked for. I really want to get better at telling my clients what I'm doing and when, so they don't have that sort of awkward moment of panic of, is she actually doing what I want?
Yeah, I think that's a really good viewpoint. And also it's good that you understand your clients as well, because I think sometimes it can be so easy to think like, oh yeah, like it's easy for them to just bring something up, but like you said, you understand that panic of being like, oh, it's not quite right, or it's not what I've asked for. And like the fact that you were like, oh, I'd just rather you say, you know, and bring it up if there's anything that you're not unsure about. I think that's such a nice mentality that you know that your nail tech has, you know, because if you feel like, oh, I'm worried that she's going to be upset if I say this, then it adds more stress to it all. And then in the end, it's all these little things and these stresses that might make you not come back, because you're like, I don't want to feel worried that I've like said something in the wrong way, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think I speak for most nail techs when I say this. Most people want the client to speak up if there's a problem in the appointment, because it's much easier to fix it there and then than have to try and squeeze them into a busy diary and get them back in the salon to fix something that could have been sorted at the time.
So funny that you say that, because talking to some chefs, you know, like what I've done with my podcast.
Yes. Oh yeah, for context, Lizzie also has a podcast. I was going to mention it at the end, but yeah, that is good.
Sorry, that sounded like a self-knob.
No, not at all. Not at all. So Lizzie has her podcast, so she interviews kind of other local businesses and some really interesting people. So that's why she's speaking to chefs all the time.
But yeah, from speaking to chefs, so one of the chefs that I spoke to, she was saying about how she always, like her staff always ask, you know, how was your meal during it? So if there's anything wrong, then they can fix it. And I've obviously had this experience every time that I've gone out for a meal, but I always just thought it was customary to be like, oh yes, like, you know, it's been good. But she was saying how she'd much rather you tell her there and then, oh, like I'm not loving this or I'm not loving that, and she can fix it, rather than you going home and writing a review on, like, I don't know, the food being too spicy, when that's not something that you'd ever mentioned when you were at the restaurant.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, when she gave that perspective, I was like, no way. Like, I just thought you wouldn't want me to tell you. Which I know that sounds crazy, but
that's just the British in us as well. Like, almost too polite to say, oh, actually, I'd rather this. But yeah, like for me as an nail tech, if say if I do this colour now and you're like, oh, actually I wanted the pink a bit more ready. Like, if you go away and then you're like, oh, Laura, like it really doesn't look like my inspo picture, I've got to get you back in, find time to squeeze you in. I've got to then file back down like the top coat, remove the other design. That's very hard to do. A, when you've not got much regrowth, and I'm trying to use the E-file for efficiency, but B, it's very hard to do without making the overlay like a little bit bumpy because you've kind of took away some of the layers. So then you're having to go right back down and basically redo the whole nail, and it's just a lot of faff. And then that's probably an hour out of my client's day for something that could have took 2 minutes to actually sort in real life.
Yeah.
And they've got to get here, and I've got to do it and squeeze them in. Depending on what the issue is, I might not be earning any money from it. Likewise, if it's just I don't like this, I've changed my mind, then they're going to get charged for it, which then is awkward for the nail tech as well because they've got to have that conversation.
Yeah. There's so much that goes into services, isn't there? Like, you get it with hair a lot, don't you? Where it's like, oh, I've come out of the salon and I don't like my hair. How do I, tell my hairdresser? And there's just so much tension on both sides, I feel, on this, because no client ever wants to say that. Yeah. And no, service provider ever wants to hear that either, do they? As in, not because you're not open to hearing it, but it's just then, like you said, you've got to think about everything else that you've got to do to fix that problem.
Yeah. It's much easier to fix issues in the moment.
Yeah.
But I think that's why it's important to create that kind of atmosphere where clients feel like they can say, are you ready for a nightmare from the nail desk, which is my agony aunt section. We get given a little dilemma and we fix it.
Yeah, let's do it.
This one's going to be quite interesting actually, because normally I'm with another nail tech. So it'll be quite interesting to hear your perspective and advice from a client's point of view. She says, I'm a nail tech and I just had a client get a full gel set with me. The next day she messaged, we've kind of covered this. The next day she messaged saying 2 nails had chipped. I'm torn. Do I offer a free fix, charge her, or just explain normal wear? How is best to handle this situation to keep my client happy but protect my business?
I think, if it hasn't been mentioned before, like we were discussing, then as a client, and sorry, please don't hate me, nail techs, I would expect a free fix because it's literally the next day. And maybe you can tell me, but is that normal wear if you've got a gel set that it would happen the next day?
No. Usually, anything within sort of 48 hours, I'll say, is probably down to application. Anything longer than that could be a mix of either. It could be that it's not the right product for the client. It could be application, but it could also be lifestyle. And I think that's where it gets tricky when it's that, especially it's that sort of 5-10 day period where it's it's not ideal for the client that it's chipped, but equally you could have done everything perfect as a nail tech. They've gone home, slathered their hands in sun cream and oil, and as in not nail oil, greasy oil.
Yeah.
And done all the washing up without wearing gloves and picked at the nails and used them as tools for over a week. And as a nail tech, there's not much you can do once the client leaves your chair. But equally, if they're chipping within a day, something's not right there, and it might just be that it's the wrong product for them, but your set should be lasting longer than that.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think it's similar to what we were saying before. If you have that experience and you rectify it, and you can show that you're someone that they can trust, and maybe you explain to them, I don't know if this product was right for your finger, or it shouldn't have happened this way, then I do think you'll build that trust and that loyalty. Yeah,
100% agree. I've had a client in recently, and she had quite short and bendy nails, and I put on a hybrid gel, which is a mix between a builder gel and a flexible base. With a hard gel, it's got no flexibility, so if someone's nails are really naturally bendy, their nail is going to bend, the product won't bend with it, and they'll get that separation. And they might think that the overlay has lifted away from their nails, but actually what has happened is their nails bent away from the overlay. So actually for some people, they need a product with a bit of flexibility in. I said to her, she booked for a builder gel set, so I said, I would actually recommend that we do a flexible gel here. It's the same price, it's the same amount of time, it's the same technique, it's just that the chemistry of the product is more flexible. So I would recommend that for this reason, this reason, this reason. If you come back and you've not got on with it, then let's explore. And I like to explain that it could be a bit of a process, so they're not like, get a chip after 2 days and then going, oh, she's shit, I'm not going back to her. They know actually the product might not be right for them.
It does take that education. Like, I didn't know about all the differences in the products till I started coming to you, for example. And so I didn't know that hard gel was the kind of gel that I needed. So if I was just going to someone new, I probably would have booked Builder, or I probably would have booked gel nails. And then after a couple of days when my nails broke, then I just think, oh, they're not very good at their job, which is wrong. And also, like, not that I'd ever leave you, but say if like I moved to a different place, at least now I know like this is the kind of nails that work for me and what I want, because you've like instilled that knowledge in me. But also, I would never leave you.
I love that. And I think it's really important to have that clear communication for me. So it's good to hear that as a client you value that. Because I'm just here doing what I think is good, and like, especially on the podcast when we talk about clients want this and clients want this and clients like that, it's really good to speak to an actual client and be like, because you know, I'm a client for other services but not for nails. And I have been a client with nails in the past, but equally that was a while ago, so it's good to know kind of what's valued by you as a client.
What did you value when you were a client?
I would say the actual nails and the retention, the speed, which such a hypocrite because I cannot do nails in like an hour, but I loved that I could go and get them done on my lunch break. But equally, again, it's about educating clients, like, I'm not the person for you if you want nails to be done in an hour, because I'm not going to be able to do them in an hour. Sorry, like, it's just not the way I work. Maybe one day we'll get there, but equally, I like to have a chat with my clients. I think if you were in and out in an hour, I'd be like, I never learned anything about you.
I remember you posted something where it's like a receipt, you know, for your nail appointment, and one of them was like free therapy, and it really is like there's just so much that goes into it, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%. But I love, because sometimes it's free therapy for the client and sometimes it's free therapy for me.
Oh, we're just doing double therapy.
And
nails at the same time.
I mean, we love a multi-skilled queen. No, I think that was such good insights. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
There's a lot of things that are really useful to a lot of nail techs, I think, there. Obviously, every client is different, but kind of sometimes things that nail techs care about, clients don't care about. And equally, how much you value us as people is really nice to hear. And I think also something that nail techs don't always consider. So it's so easy, I think, when you're thinking about your service and how do I make my service better for people? And actually, it could be the fact you're just listening properly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being my client.
Thank you for being my nail tech.
So, where can anybody who's watching or listening find you?
You can find me on TikTok as Teeny Tiny Talks, or on Instagram as Tiny Talks Official. I will tag you in the videos when I get the episode live. Thank you so much. You are very welcome. Thanks again, and thank you so much to everybody for watching and listening. I'm loving the support recently, so please remember to like, subscribe, and give me a follow, because it really, really does help. And I'll be back with the next episode in 2 weeks. Bye. Bye.